Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin, and this is Life, Liberty, and Levin. I have some books here, not for show. I'm doing an enormous amount of research and reading as I prepare for my own writing. And I need to tell you about what's going on with your country. Rather than in some surface level, superficial way, I want us to dive a little bit deeper tonight because it's very, very serious. First thing I want to do is remind you, Thomas Paine, December 23, 1776, he wrote a pamphlet called The Crisis. It was so powerful that George Washington read it to the troops because the morale was very low and we were losing the Revolutionary War. And it opens with, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives us everything its value. Heaven knows how to put a proper price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated." We don't talk much about freedom, let alone individual freedom and property rights and unalienable rights anymore. We don't really hear much reference by these politicians in the White House and in Congress about the Declaration of Independence, our founding document, because many of them reject it. Many of them abhor it. We're told there was a meeting in the White House earlier in the week with some so-called historians and Joe Biden, put together by John Meacham, who had been writing some of Biden's speeches without telling the American people as he was critiquing them on MSNBC. But he pulled a meeting together with a number of them, Besh Losh and others, and Biden wanted to know, and they wanted him to know, that he could and should go big, real big, that he has the potential to be bigger than FDR and LBJ and Barack Obama, three of the biggest spending, most expansive government presidents we've had in American history. I want you to keep something in mind. Our Constitution is intended to prevent this sort of thing. Go big, go fast, they're telling them. The Constitution says go slow and be deliberative. We have three branches of government. We have separation of powers. We have a Bill of Rights. We have what we call states, federalism, the Ninth Amendment, the 10th Amendment. We have a First Amendment. All these rights under the Bill of Rights are intended to protect the individual against the government. Massive government spending in all things, reaching every corner of our society, affecting all aspects of our culture. That's not what the Constitution created. The Constitution didn't create some kind of neo-Marxist or democratic socialist regime of the sort they have in Europe and other places in the world. And so I've been taking a very close look at these things and Joe Biden's executive orders. And you might recall the Biden-Sanders manifesto. That was 150 pages that I discussed over and over again on this program, on radio, and on Levin TV as well. They're instituting this line by line, page by page. This is a manifesto, and I'm going to say it. It's a neo-Marxist manifesto. If we don't have the strength and the courage to use the accurate language to describe what's going on, then we will not be able to confront it, let alone defeat it. Now, I want you to know, Joe Biden is not well read. He's not particularly bright. He never has been, even in his most cogent days. But he is surrounded by ideologues, not just from the Obama administration, but other ideologues. And I want you to know something about them. They read books like Counter-Revolution in Review by Herbert Marcuse. Herbert Marcuse, who I'll get to in a minute. Stick with me. Here's another one. The Breaking of the American Social Compact, Francis Fox Piven and Richard A. Cloward. These are Marxists. Frontiers in Social Movement Theory, two other professors. We have Is Everyone Really Equal? Second edition, two more professors, including Robin DiAngelo, who may be known to some of you. Reason and Revolution, again, Herbert Marcuse. There he is, Marxist. The Dialectical Imagination, Dialectical Imagination of the Marcuse School of Marxism. Stick with me. Marx in Education, the late Jean Anand. How to use Marxism in the classroom. Critical Race Theory, Richard Delgado and Gene Stefniks. Right there. Again, Jean Anand. Radical Possibilities, that is Marxism in the classroom. The Progressive Education Movement by William Hayes. Do you even know all this is going on? Again, One Dimensional Man, which was a very important book to the New Left, Herbert Marcuse. Again, here we have Liberalism and Social Action, John Dewey, one of the original progressives 100 years ago. Angels in Stalin's Paradise. We have more. Radicals. You're familiar with this? Rules for Radicals? Saul Alinsky. We have Navigating Borders. Critical Race Theory is not just anymore about blacks. It's about immigration. We have Critical Immigration Theory, or what they call LACRIC now. Never heard of it, did you? And then, of course, we have the New York Times and the 1619 Project, the purpose of which is to inculcate and indoctrinate students in our elementary and middle schools to hate America. What else do we have here? We have the degrowth movement that calls itself the climate change movement. In Defense of Degrowth by Jorge Callas. We have Political Theory and Global Climate Change. It doesn't matter who it's by, but these are professors and scholars in the field, so-called. What is critical environmental justice? We have Farewell to Growth. I want you to know all these books are relevant to the people who surround Joe Biden, to Bernie Sanders, to AOC. These are professors, these are so-called scholars, both in America and overseas, that are affecting your lives. Now, what about our media? I pointed out this book the other day, Propaganda. What are journalists for? By Jay Rosen, one of the leading professors in the social activism journalism movement. That's right, social activism journalism movement. They call themselves public journalists, doing public journalism and public life. Another book, The Idea of Public Journalism. And then this, Manipulating the Masses, Woodrow Wilson and the Birth of American Propaganda. I recommend it. It's long. It's exactly what Joe Biden is doing today. Now, when you look at Joe Biden's executive orders, when you listen to what he's discussing,